All right, so final thoughts on this. The Kaiser Soze of this entire thing is Katie. She breaks the cardinal rule of this show. She rats, and she is not kicked off the show for it, but rather she eliminates 2 rivals in the process and marches forward in this journey of love. I mean, we've never seen this before. It's understated how masterful this was.
Let me tell you something, though. She had a lot to work with.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of Another Bachelor Podcast. My name is Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Pat, producer of the podcast, over there behind my glasses.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Doing great. Manchester United won 9-0 today.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, really great day. They had a red card in the second minute, so that's why. But, pour it on, boys. Okay, so Bachelor, right?
Right.
Okay, so do we have any PSAs before we get anything out of the way?
I need a few minutes because I got a lot of things I got to cover.
A few minutes?
Yeah. First off, I want to thank the For Crying Out Loud podcast for letting us come in there.
Yeah.
And get some new listeners. I'm sure you're listening now. You heard us on that podcast.
Yep.
And you love us. And
love those mommies.
And I would say Dylan wasn't able to make it. And I'd say Dylan was sorely missed, but he was not. I knocked it out of the park. So thank you. And then also,
do you want to say, just 1 second, narcissist.
Just insane that he didn't say we knocked it out of the park.
Do you want to say that Nick knocked it out of the park?
I didn't say that.
Fucking psycho.
I thought I said we. Anyway.
Troubling how vain he is.
So
sometimes.
Go over to For Crying Out Loud on their Facebook and tell them how much you enjoyed and listen to the podcast. It's For Crying Out Loud.
That'd be huge.
And we're on this week's episode. We talked Bachelor. I talked some of my family life and all that. I thought it was pretty interesting. And just tell them how much you love us. That way they'll have us on more. And then we'll get to our big goal of getting on Juicy Scoop.
I'm going to do the vote. Who's your favorite?
No, don't.
I'm going to do the vote.
Don't. We're going to get our
I'll put
feelings
money on it.
We're going to get our
Hey,
feelings
come on. I'm in my PSA here. All right. And the second thing I need to talk about is
He's Hitler.
We need your money. Okay, we need to hit 750 Patreons by the end of February.
Yeah.
So it's time to pony up. There's tens and thousands of you out there, and only a fraction of you are giving us money. And we got Love is Blind coming up, season 2, and then we're going to put yachting, if you're into the below deck stuff, behind the paywall. So you're not going to be able to get anything for free
More
anymore.
APSs to come, and honestly, we've talked about it before. This audience, we could fill up Azteca Stadium, socially distanced in coronavirus, which is a lot of fucking people. So it's honestly kind of hurting our feelings.
Yeah.
It's kind of hurting our feelings.
I get angry about it, actually.
Let's get to Nick's PSA.
Yes, I do have a PSA. Last week, I ran a contest that...
Again, with you insane people. We ran a contest. You guys killed it. Can we be a team tonight, please?
Yeah. Well, I'm not being a team member?
I mean, you have ghosts in your throat.
I ran a contest at the strong objections by my wallet to give $100 to whoever made the best TikTok of our audio from our episode. And I will say, after the thousands and thousands of entries, I will still say I don't know if it was worth it. But we had an incredible winner. I should have had it on the ready, but
100%, of course. Yeah.
I haven't even started the Another Bachelor Podcast, and then it will be the Another Podcast Network TikTok. I did repost it on our Instagram on Reels. 112,000 views.
Wow, baby birdie, whatever your name is, which Nick should have.
And hopefully a runner-up, too.
We can't even thank you enough. 100 Beckaroos coming your way.
Even if you give it a bottom barrel CPM, that's a 100.
All right, we have to get it.
I'm saying
Who's the winner?
I'm saying $1 CPM. That's $112. So I netted us $12. If you really look at it like that.
Well, you didn't do it. The person that made the video did.
Right. I'm just the architect.
And we have to talk about the show now.
We do. But the winner was Carrie Helmuth.
Well, beautiful name.
She just had she added jokes to what is already hilarious audio. It was like the Andrew Schultz Netflix special.
All right. So thank you very much, Carrie. Beautiful name, Helmuth.
DM Nick your address so we can send you $100.
Yep, exactly.
And despite me losing, I'm going to do it one more week.
Oh, my God.
One more week. You could not be the same winner. I'd love to see your entry, Carrie, but one more week. I'm running the contest.
Let's
It's
do
happening.
it. Guys, get your fingies moving on that TikTok. Very, very funny app. You know, there's this new thing where if you make your eyes go up and then you smile and then you stop smiling, it's like a model challenge. There's so much funny stuff that comes out of it. But it is destroying civilization. It's one of the 70 social media horsemen of the apocalypse. So let's get into the show.
We don't want to do my thoughts?
But before we do, let's hand out some knots, petals, roses, in general thoughts. Pat, why don't you go next?
Yeah, I'm going to sum up my thoughts and knots very briefly by what's taking place. At least 75% of this episode, what takes place. It's really sad that 1 million years of evolution and wars are fought over something as simple as, hey, I was here first.
Yeah.
That's exactly what all this was about. Tribalism.
Yeah.
It's really sad that that's in our nature and our DNA and continues on and on and on.
Did you just finish Sapiens?
No. So I didn't like this. I didn't like the women yelling at each other and this whole bullying stuff. It was all pretty ugly.
Do you want to give your pots?
30.
Okay. Nick?
I'm torn because I'm feeling a lot of the same feelings Pat is, but then I ask myself, what am I looking for out of this show, The Bachelor? It's not going to solve my life problems.
Right.
I am feeling very visceral things about a lot of these characters.
Silly.
And if I'm not watching entertainment to feel, why are we watching?
Yeah.
So if you look at it under that lens, it's still not that great. But at one point, Matt did start taking out the OG girls like they were kids at the Wonka factory.
Sure he did.
I enjoyed that part, but it was middling 46 roses.
Yeah. I thought it was fun to see Victoria's, if we were to call her Icarus, it wouldn't really make sense because she never really got off the ground and her wings are all black and broken and not angelic in any way, shape, or form. But it was fun to see her downfall.
If touching the sun is the equivalent of 112,000 Instagram followers and advertisers realizing they made a bad investment.
Let's get into the episode. The day begins with a brisk walk with Victoria and Kit. They're chatting about how the hazing process has yet to begin, because accusing someone of fucking old men for money was just an amuse-bouche to what kind of hazing is coming up, evidently.
That word keeps coming up. I thought I knew what it meant. I thought it was like a salad of some sort.
Better
What is an
mine off.
amuse-bouche?
It's a big salad.
He talks about him a lot in our other show, Another Below Deck Podcast, where we cover Bravo's Below Deck.
It's the appetizer before the appetizer. So Brittany reflects on the whole experience of being called a full-blown whore, and they cut to MJ, who after this episode, I think I can safely say, is at the top of America's ass list, right? I mean, just at the top. So Anna says that she doesn't give a fuck about Brittany, and MJ says that you did the right thing. This seemed to be a Frankenbite bit of editing because they're in gowns.
Right.
It's just like terrible editing. But if we take it at face value, it's part of the story. It's part of the tapestry of tonight's tale. What the fuck? You did the right thing calling her a whore?
Smash cut too, and I don't want to get it out of myself, but I'm going to wildly. She's like, I apologize immediately and never said it again.
Yeah, that's when she said you did the right thing.
It's crazy.
All right, so MJ keeps referring to herself as part of the varsity squad, which isn't a thing that exists. And if it did, you would be so fucking far away from it that you wouldn't be able to see practice, okay?
Unless she went to like a private school where they didn't have cuts. So when you're a senior, you're on the varsity squad.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of people like you. So you only go in when you're down by a lot or up by a lot.
Yeah.
And when you go in, everybody cheers like, oh, they're all excited. MJ got in. And they start like clapping and you like play it up, but you're actually embarrassed. You just want to start and like really matter.
Yep. A little close to home.
So that's MJ.
So Matt walks in, our bachelor, the perfect man to broach the topic at hand. That is the culture of bullying in the house. and rumors that could ruin someone's life. He says that it sucks because he doesn't spend a lot of time with them, and now he has to deal with this. Matt, you know 4 of their names, and you're doing this to get your cameo price up to $50. Please do not with the "this is derailing my journey with you guys" bullshit, okay? This is reality television.
This is when you hope some of friends with Matt or people that he bullied in high school come out of the woodwork and start posting, well, Matt, it wasn't like that in the 3rd grade when you put a booger on my desk. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I just wish there was a little more of that. I'm sure it exists.
Right.
I question whether or not it does, because like, I don't think Matt's a great bachelor because he's this empty vessel. He's just doing whatever. But I don't think he's cruel. I think he's just kind of bro-y. He's hardworking. He likes having a good time. We've heard about him slumming it up with Tyler and just doing.
Yeah. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's just a rube.
Yeah, he's a rube.
Yeah.
I think I know what that means.
Me too, buddy. So Matt drops the bomb that he knows someone called someone else an escort. Mm-hmm. Victoria and her Iago start trying to sniff that fucking rat out immediately. And
the rat is shaking in her boots and really hoping this does not come out.
We'll talk about the rat later.
I didn't mean to call you a rat, Katie.
No,
I still
Katie's
like
wonderful.
You. Yeah.
Katie's
Well,
wonderful.
Matt starts doing he's doing his investigation here. He grabs Brittany first, and that's when Nutcracker Face goes into damage control, and she says something quite insane, and this is a quote. She made a comment.
Sure.
Oh, is that what you did, Nutcracker Head?
Face.
Right.
Call her Nutcracker Face.
Really admonish him for it.
So Brittany, as you mentioned, gets the opportunity to go first, which is a very powerful position because it's the first thing he hears, and his brain power has a hard limiter on it.
It is.
So, she's very fortunate. She steps up and she says that, or sits down, I should say, and says that Anna told her, quote, "When you came into the house, I went around and told everyone that you were an escort." I don't think that was a direct quote, and the tears are rather dry from Brittany, so be wary. This girl may not be an escort, although, listen, I can see how hanging around faux celebrity and wealthy men at nightclubs is misconstrued as escorting. I completely buy that was likely happening, and the bottle service girls were pissed off at her.
Right.
People, a lot of people talk on the interwebs, even in this own podcast studio, Nutcracker Face, about like her what she looks like when she shows her teeth, but it's when she tries to not show her teeth and she clenches her lips. It just looks like
I think this is very mean.
Struggling. I think
she deserves it.
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
Wait, why doesn't she deserve it?
Because it's just horrible to tear someone's features apart. We would never do that.
And she's a young girl, and she got up with Mean Girls. It's literally like they're in high school, and we're judging them, but everybody's watching their high school. I like, she's turned off comments because people are DMing her "die bitch." Like, so she just doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Our friendly razzing about Nutcracker Face, that's funny.
Hell hath no fury than the people who hate bullying on Twitter.
Hey, a few other things to mind from this Brittany conversation with Matt.
Yeah.
She tells Matt she didn't sign up to be bullied and called a whore on national TV. She came here to find love, and Matt said, "I'm sorry this has happened to you." That being said, are you paid to have sex with me?
Well, I would say, babe, this is omakase. I know that you didn't sign up for that specifically, but the gods are in charge here.
Right.
You sold your soul to the devil.
Oh, and then Matt says he appreciates her here, and he takes it seriously, and he wants to share burdens with her, and that's why he's keeping her here. That's almost a direct way. Okay, Matt, that made no sense. What the fuck?
All right, so
what is
this seems like light lifting. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm going to address it. I don't want this to hurt the experience of getting to know everybody. Share burdens. I don't want to share burdens with anybody. My wife told me she would have a bad period this week. I don't want to share that with her.
Okay, thanks for sharing it with us.
She needs to share it with someone.
All right, so he sits down with Anna next. Or, excuse me,
Nutcracker
Face.
Oompa doompa oompa dee days. Let's say goodbye to Nutcracker Face.
That was very fun and very forced. So this was a very
I feel like the time between my first Willy Wonka setup and this. It wasn't forced.
No. It was good. It was good.
Hey, Dylan, I know you're going to get into this, but I want to at least put this in the people that are listening to this podcast's heads. Listen to how Nutcracker Face tries to control the language. Okay.
Sure.
And like kind of rewrite history of what was taking place simply by her choices of words to describe her behavior. She starts off by telling Matt what she did. She referred to it as, it was rude.
Right.
And it was a little more than rude,
Sure.
Nutcracker head.
Yeah. No, I wrote down that this whole thing was very, Bill Clinton-y after he got caught doing the whole cigar in a staffer's vagina thing. Yeah.
Did you shove a cigar in a 22-year-old girl's pussy in the Oval Office? What does it mean? You're a sociopath.
Larry David does this great bit where he goes, Clinton thought he was going to get a blowjob from a Jewish woman without any consequences? What's the matter with him? Anyways, okay, so Anna begins breaking out in a rash and crying about, she's crying out an apology. And that's when Matt very slowly tells her that she's not going to be part of his journey anymore. Final thoughts on Anna. I would just say word to the wise. The only more pathetic character type to fill on the show than villain is the villain Ziago. Mm-hmm. It's a role littered with poor, forgetful showings that end in tears. If someone's going to be the villain, do not be their sidekick.
Don't be the gimp. So something interesting here, though, and I don't know if Matt said this directly to her, but it was definitely implied. When she did say she felt really bad and felt like a dick, he actually kind of relates to her. He says, I've been a dick too. That being said, I have to take responsibility and I need to follow my heart and you need to go home. Not mainly because of the rumor and being a bully, but because I have 14 girls here that are way more attractive than you.
Alrighty, so shall we get to the girls and a talk of bullying culture? Hashtag be best. The OG girls and or the varsity squad. They're sick to their stomach that the new girls felt uncomfortable with being called whores and having crowns ripped off their head. And they are now in full-blown make amends mode. Are you okay? You seem forlorn.
I was deep in thought, for sure.
Okay. Ryan sits down with Matt, and again, the opportunity to dry cry first is so fucking important. She says that Victoria called her a hoe because she's a dancer. Inappropriate, but what kind of dancer are you? Because it's important.
So they smell the girls that while they were doing this, they really jumped on this pretty quick. They realized, oh shit, the heads are starting to be chopped in town square right now. So they're like, all right, let's get that peace pipe out.
Yeah,
and let's start making amends here. I'm really sorry that I did that to you. I didn't understand that would hurt your feelings when I called you a whore.
The Lufthansa heist went wrong. Is that what it's called?
Lufthansa.
Okay.
You know what? I like in this too because it was,
No, Goodfellas.
Chelsea, I think she brought up the toxic house environment first, and then that's when Catalina, Miss Puerto Rico, and Michelle are like, it's been a hellscape in here. And the apology seemed very much like the film Weird Science. When do you remember when Bill Paxton's character, he was the dick brother, then he got turned into a blob piece of shit on the kitchen
Dylan
floor?
I'm gonna say
Dylan
something that'll make me, I don't know, maybe people will hate me, but I haven't really had the time to sit down and watch shit movies from the 80s.
But did you ever watch the reboot that was on USA, the hour television show that I watched with my
it was
sisters?
an hour, huh?
Grandma, yeah. She was so hot. I think it was Yasmin Bleeth. No, not Yasmin Bleeth. She was in Bedazzled.
50 to 60 pages a week they were putting out for Weird Science.
Anyway, that character...
No, it was like 76 snappy dialogue.
Oh, God.
When he turned him into a slimy piece of shit on the floor, he really wanted to come back into his human body, so he started being nice to his brother Wyatt. He's like, I'm sorry, Wyatt.
That sounds hilarious. All right. So,
who played her in that in the 80s version?
Kelly Brock.
Kelly Brock.
Thank God. All right, so Victoria catches wind, like you said, that people have her name on their lips, and begins, what's the word? Fucking imploding. Mm-hmm. So she says literally everything was going amazing, literally. I am the perfect person to be his wife. Then these fucking losers create these problems when everything is fine. You have a mound underneath your eye that's shutting it. Okay?
She also said, if Matt's going to listen to some idiot, then he's not my person. She had a lot of fire quotes in this.
Some of it was after she got kicked the fuck out, too.
She is one of the least interesting kinds of people, though. Like, just a dumb, vapid, deeply insecure, vile bitch. There's just, like, they're carbon copies of these people all over planet Earth. They're just, get her off the TV.
If you take her at face value, but I think she's some weird Andy Kaufman type character. Like, her commitment to this role, like when she I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
you might be
wild.
right, but you also could be giving her too much credit.
Although, Nick, if she was a smart gal, and maybe she does want to be in the entertainment business, come out and actually, like, come out with an English accent, and then just saying, I was playing a character the entire time, like some Andy Kaufman shit. We'd say, holy shit, that was an amazing rouge.
Boom, we've talked about this before. She then becomes the Chinese guy from The Prestige. Then her entire life is an act. She is no longer a British person 5 years down the road. She all of a sudden has an Hispanic accent, like Ilaria.
Well,
you know, there are levels to this game that she's going to unleash. Where did I just go with that? Nowhere funny.
I agreed with all of it.
Okay. All right, so let's get to Matt and Victoria and talk of the power of words. He addresses the hoe comments. She claims that was taken out of context. Now, Victoria, that was a good swing at it, but you got to be prepped for those pesky follow-up questions. And, you know, Matt, we've joked about his brain power and being so fame-thirsty that Claire said too much. But he does ask a pretty solid cue here. In what context would calling somebody a hoe be acceptable to be taken in?
Pimp prostitute relationship. Someone dressed up as a whore for Halloween. That's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, and listen, you're getting better with those pesky follow-up questions.
Rap songs.
But she, as we saw last week, does not do great with questions being fired back at her.
No, she doesn't.
She sits there and she stares at him because there is really no answer to that question. Now,
Seppuku.
What? Oh,
Harikari.
Right. There are no swords laying around, though. I haven't seen any swords laying around. You know, I saw a great clip of Chum Lee. We love Chum Lee on this podcast. Who's the head honcho? He looks like a cock.
Pops.
No, not Pops.
Gramps. I'm getting there.
Yeah, whatever. The Gramps' kid.
Oh.
He says, "Don't sell this samurai sword," and then Chum Lee just goes ahead and sells it. It was hilarious.
So the conversation doesn't really end with Stye Monster. Matt just basically walks away. I was expecting him to walk her out and say, "You got to go too." But I mean, at this point, we know she ain't going to make the cut in that rose ceremony, and it got me to thinking. As you had said about Matt earlier, while he did have a great follow-up question with the Stye Monster, which essentially got her walking papers, I believe he's probably at his limit. I believe you could feed this man anything at this point. And I would have said, if I was one of the girls like Kit, hey, let's just have fun with this to see. Let's do it all night. Let's go up to him and tell him Abigail's spreading rumors that his mother's a whore. And then him kick her out too. Because I think that's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Hard limiter. Okay, so Victoria.
Even for Matt, that's hard to believe about Abigail. She's such a sweetheart.
I don't know. I don't trust anybody in this house at this point.
So Victoria goes outside to weep to the producers, and let's just take a little listen to what she says.
Literally, there's no one in here he can marry besides me. I'm literally the best option for him, and I'm the only one with a working brain in this room. And I'm not even being rude. I'm being serious. If he's gonna believe some idiot over me, he's not my
She calls her a loser too.
And if that does happen, that'll really suck because that's not the way I wanted to leave this situation. And I'll be so heartbroken. And I'm trying to be positive, but if that happens, I'll literally die.
Okay, so again, I just want to ask the producers, When are you going to pull the trigger on grad school, huh? Because this isn't what people should be doing, right?
No.
You have to look at her and either want to kill yourself or want to make a career change. Mm-hmm. All right, can we get to the rose ceremony?
Oh, you want a roll call of who gets the roses, do you?
You want any music?
Hit the music! Here's the roll call. Here's who's Sting. Brittany, apparently not a floozy. Ryan, also not a floozy. Ashton Kutcher's wife, Serena P, definitely a hometown contender. Maggie, looks like she got her finger stuck in a light socket. Jesus Christ. Kit, her life's too perfect. She's such a nice person because she remembers people's names, according to my wife. Come on, sweetie. MJ, get this girl a flat iron. Sinya, I still hate that name. I got to get over it. Vibrator Katie. Abby, way too confident about the first impression rose, and now you're buried in the back of the pack. Misstep. Chelsea, the model, and Serena, the Asian.
Pat,
You have to stop doing that.
What?
It's haute couture, France, Italy, Spain, everywhere. She's been everywhere. She's walked everywhere.
Dylan, I said the model.
yeah, he was like Michael Jordan. He was in the NBA.
Now, that's not what's important about who stayed. What's really important here is the tragedy of who went home.
Yeah, we got to eulogize.
I'm with you.
All right, I wasn't a fan of Catalina / Miss Puerto Rico. That's fine. I didn't really even get to know
I
her.
loved her. I was on a Catalina island.
Oh, is that right? But Mari, my God, what a gorgeous girl. And then Kayla in that red dress. I mean, Matt, what, are you fucking blind?
I know, it's so sad to see a 24-year-old who's already physically enhanced her face for some fucking reason leave the competition.
You're referring to Mari?
No. What the fuck?
It's so funny.
Oh, and the Stye monster gets kicked out, too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, buried the lead.
Oh, yeah, and she denied Matt a hug on her exit, and I've never seen him happier.
I thought you were going to say Lauren the attorney.
That was it. Was it Lauren? I thought she was Kayla. Forgive me.
Oh, maybe she was Kayla. I don't know, but it's a tragedy. She her for Bachelorette. Kayla / Lauren, whoever is the attorney.
I have a question. Do I need to start paying attention to who goes home?
No.
Do I not?
No.
Because
I
it
said
sounds
it right.
like I might have to.
All right. Let me get on to some important business here.
Fuck.
This is the most important pivot or turn for this show, as far as I'm concerned. The Stye monster really was taking us down a course that we want to be. It's been 2 episodes, possibly 2.5 episodes of just
Possibly
bullying
5, yeah.
and just nonsense, and no one taking this process seriously because she's clogging up the fucking pipeline of having fun.
Yep.
I feel that the Stye monster now exiting. Now we can get on to the business of what is at the heart of this show, which is finding love.
Yes, this is where the circus likeness of this process kind of flirts and kind of goes into the background, and we will
Oompa doopa doopa dee day.
we will
Let's say goodbye to Queen Victoria.
Did I say forced earlier? I should have saved that.
Is there a word that means more than forced?
But yes, I think in
It's
a
the rule
couple
of threes.
in a couple episodes we will be really, really missing these times.
I don't think so.
All right, so this does not end with a whimper, but a bang. Just a couple things before we finally say goodbye to Victoria, because she has quite an eventful killing here. Mm-hmm. She goes through a Rolodex of her best qualities in an OTF as he's handing out the roses. She's kind-hearted, genuine, loyal, and then she gets kicked off the show. Victoria says that the house is going to be a miserable place because of all of the joy that she brought. And I have to say, I love the punishment of making her stand there throughout the entire thing. And I love that the producers were like, all right, the veneer of keeping the villain around is thin enough. Let's shit can the Stye monster. Enough of this. Mm-hmm. Final thoughts.
Yeah, you know what's you were talking about Matt, like basically, I think kind of holding his tongue this entire time because she was a byproduct of producers thinking she's great TV. His inner monologue when he was staring at her, those last few seconds they gazed into each other's eyes was,
"It needs to be lanced." That's what he was thinking. All right, so final thoughts on this. The Kaiser Soze of this entire thing is Katie. She breaks the cardinal rule of this show. she rats, and she is not kicked off the show for it, but rather she eliminates 2 rivals in the process and marches forward in this journey of love. I mean, we've never seen this before. It's understated how masterful this was.
Let me tell you something, though. She had a lot to work with. Nutcracker head. Fuck, what a colossal fuck up. What was in it for you calling a girl a whore all day long? Like, you could have known that was, the climate, it's going to come back to bite you.
Still, though.
That never was going to work out on this show.
Still, though.
You guys I feel like I'm at the U.S. Open right now. You guys are both making great points. Like, you shouldn't do this, but then again, it's 2020. Sex work is real work. You can't be saying these things.
Kaiser Soze.
But I guess she shouldn't do that because you're going to get kicked off no matter what. But usually the one who rats on them for getting kicked off no matter what also gets kicked off. But Katie's going to make a play, but he's not that into her, so she's not.
Well, let me say this,
I'm
Nick.
torn. I'm thinking about it in real time.
I've been
You guys make
listening.
great points.
I've been listening to you two talk about Vibrator Katie for a couple weeks. I believe one of you guys have even proposed the concept of her being the Bachelorette.
That was me, yeah.
That
All
was
right.
him. That's ridiculous.
So you're to blame for this. So you know how mean my wife is. She's a pretty mean girl. She wouldn't do well on this show because she'd be probably hanging out with the Stye monster. I proposed that concept to my wife watching this last night, and my wife had one retort. Basic. Referring to Katie being the next Bachelorette. She's not a fan.
How is that?
I
generally
love.
looked at a pejorative when ABC's looking for a bachelor.
That seems like the most important qualification of anybody helming this franchise, actually. All right, so let's get to the next day.
Next day.
that rogue, that maverick Hannah Brown.
Yeah, we need to find a maverick, like John McCain, but a young woman.
Oh, that's a good point.
All right, so dreary day. A lot of blood was shed last night, but fear not, the course is rained out, and that's why Shitface comes in. He lets the girls know.
It's hard not to call John McCain. I mean, he spent years in POW.
He's a maverick.
He's a maverick.
He's a maverick. We're past the halfway point, he says. Dates mean that much more. Then he drops a date card. Pat, who do we got?
We got Ashton Kutcher's wife. That's Rachel. It's going to be a one-on-one. Yeah.
That's right. Our fairy tale begins today, the card says. Rachel gets the most sought-after date in the franchise. That is the pretty woman date. Mm-hmm. Lumiere comes
Seemed like
in.
it would have fit so well with Brittany or Ryan.
Yeah. Yep. Again, what kind of days are you? Yes, a servant comes in with white gloves and guides Rachel to a Rolls Royce that whisks her away to Matt and celebrity stylist Ty Hunter.
Well, Ty Hunter, but also Matt and that ridiculous turtleneck that he insists on wearing.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking
Big,
Christ.
big T-neck kind of guy.
I don't like it.
Well, listen, I love this Ty Hunter guy, but his fashion sense is very 87. The first garment is horrible, yellow and black. Not working for me. The second was too gold and orange. The third had a print that was too busy and was accompanied by Matt in a tallit worn sideways. And the fourth made her look like Robin. But it's accompanied by those bloody shoes, those red bottom bay, those fucking Louboutins.
Dylan, I thought you would have been the harshest critic on this particular accessory.
I think I am.
Louis Vuittons are so 5 years ago.
It's you're not saying it right, darling. It's not Louis Vuittons.
Louboutin.
Louboutin.
All right, whatever. I'm a footman, and I didn't like this. They didn't turn me on at all.
I was informed last night by my girlfriend.
You should write a letter.
That but it's essentially what Pat is saying, that these have jumped the shark, but the reason they've jumped the shark is because they're horseshoes.
Yeah.
Like they're notorious.
Oh, stop
No, they're
when Cardi B is writing songs about you.
Louboutins are notorious for gifts from the sugar daddy, so now they're considered like this would have been perfect again for Ryan.
I
or
would
Brittany.
like to
Just-
put
just saying.
forth a little proposal. Let's just let's bring the W word out of the lexicon of the podcast just for a little bit.
Floozy.
Okay, no,
Sure, something like that.
I was saying H horseshoes.
Okay.
You guys misunderstood. me.
So, brutal move from the producers. They say, Rachel, We want you to take 75 bags. We know that only 1 or 2 of these belong to you, but we want you to take these in. They have nothing but tissue paper in them. And we want you to walk in. We'll bring you a giant box that has the gown you'll be wearing this evening in it. Any thoughts on this torturous?
The girls are very upset by this, as they should be.
Yeah. Extremely upset. All right, so Pat.
I did want to talk about the implications of having this date. The only example I can remember of who was on it was Corinne. Didn't win, obviously, but the date kind of fit her in this respect. The date also kind of fit Rachel because evidently she's never had a pair of shoes over $40, which kind of made me sad.
Yep.
What do we think this means? Because I predicted she wins. I stand by it. Their fairy tale started now.
I want to get to that later, but there's no one else will win this competition.
You don't think so?
You agree?
No one else will
Get to
win
it
this.
now.
Nah, I don't want to have to cipher through my notes. But
Fair enough.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I think it's at the night date, but yeah.
It is the night thing.
Well, just clear winner. Date card gets dropped. Pat, we need a little roll call.
All right, here's who's going on the group date card. Piper, the 14-year-old, Vibrator Katie, Ryan, Michelle. I'm a fan of Michelle, by the way. Britt, MJ, Jasenia. The 2 Serenas, Bree, Abby, and Chelsea, the model.
Which means
2 Serenas? I feel like I'm at Wimbledon.
Kit will be on the one-on-one, which, as we'll see later, is a bit of a waste of time. I feel really bad for Abigail because this is what happens when you have less than upstanding people helming this show, which is every time. But Abigail gets the first impression rose and is then seemingly ignored the rest of the time, which if he's not feeling her, he's not feeling her. Like, I don't fault him for that, but I just love her, and he's confusing the shit out of her, and I feel bad for her.
Yeah, that's a dick move on his part because he made her feel all special that first night, and I don't think he's made eye contact with her in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And sorry, my timeline. When she got this rose, had she confided in him?
No.
Oh, it was on the one-on-one.
Yeah, well, the group date.
Hey, I want to also point out bad producing. Maggie, the girl who I thought I ingeniously made a joke of.
Oh, she's still on the show?
Yeah, Maggie's still on the show.
Oh, she's still on the show.
She's not on this group date, yet we cut to Kit because she's the only girl that wasn't mentioned to...
She's not on the date?
I'll have to refer to my notes.
Again, that's why I joked. Is she on the show?
I don't believe she got kicked out because, I made that joke that she stuck her finger in a light switch.
Yeah.
She does look like that. And she
Elvira,
also,
yeah.
when they read off the date cards, they were like...
Maggie's not on that date card.
I don't think they said Maggie.
Is Elvira's hair like Maggie's?
It's a little far up.
Farther up. Okay.
But hers is straight. It's more...
I thought that that errors and omissions smack dab in the middle of it.
Hit us.
But he may not be feeling Abigail, but you know who he is feeling? Rachel.
Night date.
They sit down for a little dinner, and I think he's still got some more shit on his nose.
Yeah, he keeps making out with the girls, and their makeup goes on his nose.
Thank you. So, I kind of like Rachel. She's very real about what she's vulnerable about. She says that she has a self-sabotaging complex and she projects her insecurities on other people, which kind of drives people away, which you compare that to Victoria, who genuinely believes that she brings joy into people's lives. Rachel seems to be at the very least in touch with reality, perhaps even inward looking, which is very, very rare on this show.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but she's about to do something very insane in just a few seconds. Dylan, I got a different take on this. Matt asks her why she hasn't been in love before, and she tells him because she didn't deserve it and her self-esteem is in the gutter. I'm feeling a former fatty here.
Okay, Pat. Or should I say Tom? 1-800-TOM.
I agree with the evidence, but the frame just doesn't support your theory.
Yeah.
She'd have much bigger calves, and she's skin and bone.
We know that Matt had a chat with Chris about how he was worried what Black America was going to say when he picks a white girl. This is the white girl he will pick. The fallen L-bomb is dropped. She will win this competition.
It was a small one. She's.
I wish you would have said it, then you would have played it because we could have played Secret Sound and it would have taken us forever.
That would have taken us forever because that was so small.
This
fallen L bomb that it almost wasn't a bomb at all.
It wasn't a bomb at all.
That sounded like a prescription pill bottle falling on the ground.
The sound effect is labeled a cup dropping on a hardwood floor.
Got it.
Let me say this. She says she's beginning to start to fall in love with him.
Nick loves the Secret Sound.
I love the Secret Sound, B96. But I'm sorry, she's beginning.
This is stage 4.
If stage 1 is the one of most important.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. All right. So it's so tough because this season there are amazing girls like Bree and Serena and Michelle and Katie. It's too crowded a field. Like we've had seasons past where, like, what does it come down to? Like Maddie and fucking Hannah Ann or whatever. Like, oh, Maddie, whose father looks like her sister, and he has 17 girls. Like, this is just these are great girls. It's a great casting. So anyways.
These girls are genuine and real, Maddie. Deep cut.
So she gets the rose.
Yeah.
Do you want me to Secret Sound?
Yeah. You don't remember what Matt does here?
Bomb.
Big bomb.
I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, and you gotta see what just
He
happened.
tells her he's feeling the same way, and he says he's falling in love with her. That is not what she said. She's beginning to start to fall in love with him.
She'll win the competition. She's the white girl that he's going to pick.
All right. I thought what you guys were proposing was an insane thought, but after the...
I was proposing. He was not on board.
I can't believe he just said that. Now she has to be top 3. And by the way, where did this come from?
She's top 1.
He hasn't had more than 20 minutes to sit down and talk with her in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Where's this all coming from?
Well, we'll play our over-under game at the end of the season.
You know what made me see it? Like, they made a shot of her talking to a girl after he came in and said a prayer, and she was, like, almost crying that he said a prayer. And I was like, this is it. And watch.
This is, forgive me, but
I was like, he's going to kill this.
This is Claire makes my skin crawly and Dale territory here. They have no business.
Stop.
No, you stop it.
No, you stop it.
Matt hasn't spent any time with any of these women. Where does he get off returning this to her? I understand she's trying to win a competition, but him doing this, it was almost as insane as what Claire did. At least she was talking to Dale for months on Instagram.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they
all right,
were.
so she gets the rose, and we got to move on. Let's get to the date.
He gets off in his 1-bedroom apartment that he shares with Tyler C. Bam. Roasted. Boom.
Second tie of the... Can you yell date, please?
Date.
Second tie of the evening. That is Farmer Ty, quite the coxman. Matt, look out. Mr. Steal Yo Girl is standing right next to you in dungarees.
Farmer Todd has some hosting chops.
Oh, yeah, he's fantastic. MJ is... Well, he's a humble man.
Yeah.
It's a pursuit that really, really sharpens people, or turns them into Q-drop addicts, Okay, so MJ is stepping up.
Are you saying you don't think sex trafficking is a problem in this country?
Listen, I want the Democrats to stop feasting on children's blood just like the rest of you.
But that doesn't mean I want lower taxes.
MJ is stepping up, trying to force milk out of goats and scaring chickens. She's running amok on the farm, and this spell ends with Matt, like a total boy, throwing an egg at her, and then running a 4.540 to go make out with Piper. It means he likes you.
That's right.
No, but she really is like, okay, now that Victoria's gone and Anna's gone, I am now going to...
I'm free. I can step up a little bit. But I know I mentioned this before, but seriously, guys, look at Piper. She looks like she's 14. I don't know how he can do this.
You're making me feel gross because I think that she's unbelievably beautiful.
A little too young for me.
Matt, in this moment, thought he was slick.
Yes.
He ran through the barn. He thought he was like running up to her when she was doing her OTF. I'm gonna give you a kiss, and this is what made me think like his innocence is an act, and he's a fuckboy. Yep. Like this was too smooth. Like he got a pie in the face, ran out, kissed her. Yep. I didn't like it. I could see above the barn. If you really see where everybody was coordinated.
Bird's eye view.
When we were on For Crying Out Loud, Stephanie Wilder Taylor gave the juicy scoop that Matt was living with Tyler Chill, but a bunch of other people, and it was just like a pussy house. Like he was just going out there. I didn't know it was to that level. To which I would now say, seeing his behavior on this particular episode, Matt, you know what you got. You know the powers that you're capable of. And now they'll be for the next couple years. You had them before you came on the show. You'll have them after. Be cool. The fact that you have no self-control to be a gentleman, and I'm not saying he's like a scumbag, but it's like, hey, don't you really want the America to like you?
He's not quite Juan Pablo, but this does beg the question. You know, the identities of pious Christian man who loves his mother cannot really coexist with guy who has a stream of women coming into Tyler Chill in his like influencer apartment.
They conflict with one another.
Yes.
Despite his rock hard abs, he's more Pilot Peter than he is Juan Pablo. Like this wave of pussy was new for Pilot Pete, so he acted innocent, but he was lapping it all up.
Night date.
All right, so
you're thinking of it way too literally.
Yeah, so Matt sits down, says, quote, group dates are about spending time with you all. Okay. He grabs Chelsea first. Lovely coat. Hope it's faux. He's actually really sweet with her. Again, MSNBC producer, save her. But this is very, very sweet. You guys stop me when you want to chat. Well, we really do need to chat about Abigail. Who's up next? Sweet, sweet Abigail. She's got a lot on her mind, and I'm crossing my fingers saying, hoping that she's going to tell him that she's worried and she's confused and she feels like she's losing ground. She does not say that. She instead goes with the classic, I'm worried you will not see me as a suitable partner because our children are going to be deaf. What the fuck? Where did this come from?
I think she's probably experienced it in her life before. It's something something she's lived.
Well, I will say, good play, though, because the producers groom these bachelors and bachelorettes to be gremlins for grief, So she's really this is her time to pour out the pain. But again, just level with them. You've known him for 3 weeks. Just say you're worried that you're losing ground here. All right, Michelle is up next.
I think it was all the feelings that I think she actually thought she was possibly going to win this competition. She was goaded by the producers. So she literally confessed this thing that is an albatross around her neck. I feel like I had to tell the woman that I love that both my parents had schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Because that's like a bloodline thing. Straight up.
Yeah,
so
and
like,
then you can't do any acid or have any fun because they'll make your brain all wacky.
Oh, no. We just did ecstasy on Friday.
What?
Yeah, her girlfriend was having a rough time. She was like, can Kelly come up and do ecstasy? And we all did it, and it was fun.
Did you have a threesome?
No. Oh, God, no. It's in the back of my mind for sure, but no, that didn't. I can't suggest it.
Who the fuck is doing ecstasy? You're 33 years old.
Dude, people from Orange County, man.
What the fuck? All right, so Michelle is up next. Not a ton here, but one of the things that sucks about having Matt is that he can't reassure the girls that he's gone through what they're going through, which I think genuinely helps. Like, if you can have someone say, I've been through this pathetic gauntlet just like you, I get exactly where you're coming from. He can't relate to them on that level. Great pick, producers.
He actually said earlier to Anna, he's like, I've been in your shoes. And I feel like he was like, oh, wait, no, I haven't. Yeah. And he kind of walked it back.
Though. I've called many people whores. All right, so up next is MJ. Matt brings up that a little birdie may have told him.
And he named the bird Katie.
Now that Victoria and Anna are gone, MJ is by default the biggest bitch in the house.
Yes.
Or something like that. It's not,
no, that's all
not
right.
a great quote. Her rebuttal is pretty powerful. MJ sits down and she says that wherever she goes, she leads by example at the age of 23. And that, I don't know, that she like imbues dignity in people when she's around or something like that. I don't know. This woman is... some of these people just shouldn't. They only pick people who shouldn't be on television.
She had this lead by
Except for
example line that I feel like some of these girls, they're like, oh, live life in color. Okay, Christina. Okay, lipstick eater. I'm going to have a catchphrase coming into this.
Yeah.
And hers was lead by example. And she had it like hashtag, I'm going to be the Bachelorette, lead by example. But
Not
no one
with that
cares.
hair.
Yeah, it looks like you stuck your finger in a sock.
Okay, well, she brings this back to the group, and I'm not a fan of MJ, but she does lay it out there. She says, Kong's here, take a swing. You go, girl. Jacinia, who I forgot was on the show, is the culprit.
Yes, she's the rat.
Jacinia. She really kind of takes a big shit on her here with the help of Katie, who people have evidently a lot of hatred towards, which I really don't get it. It's not just Cherie. People really don't like Katie. I don't understand it. All right. Date card gets dropped.
Well, you should mention Abigail gets the rose.
It's coming up. It's one of those murky edit things. But yes, Abigail does get the rose because of all that pain, and MJ is still very, very angry. So let's get to Kit's night date.
And by the way, there was no day date for Kit, right? It was just strictly a night date.
They went straight to the night date.
They are just flipping this format on its head.
It's
Wow.
it's
hard to keep up.
It's a pleasure to watch this innovation unfold. Kit is choked up that Matt has been listening to her when she says that her happy place is in the kitchen because this date is culinarily themed. Kit. So we are at Matt's suite at Hotel Nomenclature. He says that he needs to be up on his fashion game because Kit is a fashionista. Well, try again, honey, because that outfit is absolutely disgusting. She shows up to his suite, which, by the way, is fucking incredible. Unbelievable
nice.
suite. He says something that I hope is a needless lie to fit in with the theme of the date. At restaurants, I order dessert first. Oof. Don't ever fucking do that.
No.
Don't ever do that.
But that's also just one of those dumb things. That's those one-liners that you've used on multiple people on a first date. It's very much like, when I watch a movie, I don't know, just call me crazy. I have to stay for the credits. Oh, fuck yourself.
People give me shit about wanting things spoiled. I prefer to have things spoiled, and then I watch the film so I can see, how they get there. Mm-hmm. I just found a study recently that said it's a more enjoyable experience if you know how it ends. Now, it's just one study from Berkeley, but everybody who says that I ruin things for people and that I'm a psycho for why don't you go fuck yourself? I'm talking to you, wife.
If people ask you not to spoil them, I don't care what study you read.
They cite the study.
We should do more of that.
All right. So Kit says that she's grown up, trying to maintain a certain image, and that she's lived a life of red carpets and gold Bentleys. Jesus Christ. I was a privileged little shit. I got slimed, I went to the Good Burger premiere as well as the Snow Dogs premiere. But gold Bentleys? What the fuck? What kind of sultan existence is this?
I'm literally going to fucking put a bullet in my head that you haven't told me that you were at the Snow Dogs premiere.
Oh, yeah. I was at the Snow Dogs premiere.
After we're done recording, you have to tell me all about Cuba.
Well, Cuba was just passing by, but they did put one of the sound stages, they filled it up with snow.
Did you meet the dogs?
There were dogs there, yeah.
I know there were dogs there. Did you meet the dogs?
I don't know.
I love the film.
I don't know.
Can you believe they spent $1 million on putting snow for the premiere of Snow Dogs?
Yeah, on stage 23.
Marvel film.
Dude, he was coming off the heels of Men of Honor. How could it miss?
Okay, so Kit says that falling in love has been difficult for her. That's because you don't have all of your credits done. You have like 12 more credits.
Well, she's 21.
She's 21.
Yeah.
Do we think that Matt is faking this because she's Tribeca Elite?
No, he wants a piece of it.
You think so?
Yep. He has no self-control. I'd be like, you're 21.
Do you think he's into...
Call me in 5 years.
You think he's into like diminutive porn? You know how there's these porn stars that are like 5 foot nothing and they weigh like 100 pounds.
Bridget the Midget. I mean, what they've done to her on those films is ungodly.
That's
I mean,
not exactly
why are there
what I'm
5
talking
guys
about.
around?
So, anyways, Kit is
It's all about proportions, Pat. It's a way different genre.
Kit is weeping again that she hasn't been able to find love at 21, and I think that wraps up the evening for us.
No, it does not, because this happens. Were you drinking while you were watching the episode? She says, and I quote, "I'm starting to fall in love with you." And I was thinking, now knowing my wife spent a couple days with her last week, what a sharp little pixie. I mean, she knows how to work the game and play it. And the fact that he's reciprocating is kind of falling into her trap.
Yeah.
She wants to be on the show longer. My understanding is her and all her girlfriends show up every week. They're just having a good old time watching Kit on this journey.
To answer your question, I was drinking while I was watching this. I was drinking Spindrift.
Is that right?
Next day.
Next morning.
We're going to have rose ceremonies and cockies, right? No.
No.
We get a date card. It's going to be the modern incarnation of the 2-on-1. It's been modified to a throwaway segment because that's what they always are. It's feuds between two people who are not going to win. 5 minutes left in the show is the perfect amount of time for this. We'll get 10 more next week. But again, I think 15 minutes is fine. Big hoops, big hair, big energy. She is on a mission. But unfortunately for her, she has met her match because
Mission Impossible.
While Jasenia is not really featured on this show, she's a firecracker. She's a fucking firecracker. She's got a rapier's wit, and MJ is not going to walk all over her. MJ says that you don't know me, okay? And she goes, no, I don't know you, because you act different when the camera's around, when Matt's around, and when no one's around. So I know 3 different people. Bam. Whoa. Drop the mic, Jasenia. So Matt arrives in his red Porsche and says, I'm sending you both home. I'm kidding. We'll see what happens next week. All right, guys, that's it for us. Jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews. 5 stars or 1. Wear a name tag and be constructive. Please, patreon.com/Another Podcast Network. Another podcast show where we gab, goof. It's another podcast show. We've got video there as well. We would love the support. Facebook. Jump in and mix it up with the rest of the baby birdies. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Bye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, guys.